Hi everyone, I am Ankita Majumdar. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to teach you class 7th SST History chapter 3rd The Delhi Sultans. So, after the Turkish conquest and the defeat of Prithviraj Chauhan, the Muslim rule firmly established in India for the first time. The period between 1206 and 1526 in the history of India is known as the period of Delhi Sultanate. During this period, the rulers of Delhi assumed the title of Sultan. Hence, this period is called Sultanate period in the history of India. It was only in the 12th century that Delhi became an important city. It first became the capital of a kingdom under the Tomara Rajputs, who were defeated in the middle of 12th century by the Chauhans of Ajmer. Under the Tomaras and Chauhans, Delhi became an important commercial center. Many rich Jain merchants lived in the city and constructed several temples. Coins called Delhi Wall were minted here. Delhi emerged into prominence when it became the capital of the Chauhan ruler Prithviraj III. After the defeat of Prithviraj in the late 12th century, the city passed into Muslim hands. Qutbuddin Aibak, founder of the slave dynasty and builder of the famous tower Qutub Minar, also chose Delhi as his capital in the beginning of the 13th century. Now Delhi transformed into a capital that controlled vast areas of the subcontinent. During the period between 1206 and 1526, five successive dynasties ruled over northern India. The five dynasties together made the Delhi Sultanate. The Delhi Sultans built many cities in the areas that were now known as Delhi. Next is finding out about the Delhi Sultans. We have literary sources on medieval India that we can construct a very authentic historical account. Inscriptions, coins, and architecture also provide a lot of information, but historical account Tariq singular, Tawariq plural, written in Persian provide much information about the Delhi Sultans. The author of Tawariq means plural were learned men like secretaries, administrators, poets, and courtiers. They who recounted events and advised rulers on governance, emphasizing the importance of just rule. The following are the details about Tawariq. First is they lived in cities, mainly Delhi, and hardly ever in villages. Second, they often wrote their histories for sultans in the hope of rich rewards. Next, these authors advised rulers on the need to preserve an ideal social order based on birthright and gender distinctions. Their ideas were not shared by everybody. So, Sultan Iltumas' daughter Razia became Sultan in 1236. Minhaj-i-Siraj recognized that she was more able and qualified than all her brothers, but He was not comfortable at having a queen as ruler, nor were the nobles happy at her attempts to rule independently. She was removed from the throne in 1240. Minha Jai Siraj thought that the queen's rule went against the ideal social order created by God, in which women were supposed to be subordinate to men. On her inscriptions and coins, Razia mentioned that she was the daughter of Sultan Iltutmish. This was in contrast to the Queen Rudrama Devi in 1262 to 1289 of the Kaktiya dynasty of Warangal, part of modern Andhra Pradesh. Rudrama Devi changed her name on her inscription and pretended she was a man. Another queen, Dida, ruled in Kashmir in 980 to 1003. Her titles in interesting. Her title is interesting. It comes from Didi or elder sister, and obviously affectionate term given to a loved ruler by her subjects. So, next is the expansion of the Delhi Sultanate from garrison town to empire. In the early 13th century, the sultans seldom controlled the hinterland of the cities and were therefore dependent upon trade, tribute, or booty for supplies. It was extremely difficult to control garrison towns in distant Bengal and Sindh from Delhi. Rebellion, war, even bad weather could break weak communication routes. The state was also surrounded by enemies from all sides. Mongol invasions from Afghanistan were a great challenge for the state authority. The defeated Rajputs also tried to free themselves from Muslim rule. The Sultanate barely survived these challenges. The expansion of Delhi Sultanate took place only during the reign of Ghisauddin Balban, Alauddin Khilji, and Muhammad Tughlaq. During the first set of campaigns, forests were cleared in the Ganga Yamuna Doab, and hunter gatherers and pastoralists were expelled from their habitat. It was aimed at consolidating the hinterland of the garrison town along the internal frontiers. Garrison town means garrison town is a fortified settlement with soldiers. Hinterland means the land adjacent to a city or part that supply it with goods and services. These lands were given to peasants and agriculture was encouraged. Now, forestresses and towns were established to protect trade routes and to promote regional trade. The second expansion occurred along the external frontiers of the Sultanate. Alauddin Khilji started military expeditions into southern India. In these campaigns, Sultanate armies captured elephant, horses, and slaves and carried away precious metals. These expeditions were culminated with Muhammad Tughlaq. The armies of the Delhi Sultanate marched across a large part of the subcontinent by the end of Muhammad Tughlaq's reign. They defeated rival armies and seized cities. The Sultanate collected taxes from the peasantry and dispensed justice in its kingdoms. Next is a closer look administration and consolidation under the khaljis and Tughluqs. The consolidation of a kingdom as vast as the Delhi Sultanate needed trustworthy governors and administrators. The early Delhi Sultans, especially Iltutmish, favored their special slaves purchased from military service. They were called bandagan in Persian. Bandagans were carefully trained to man some of the most important political offices in the kingdom, since slaves and clients were loyal only to their masters and patrons. The Sultan could trust and rely upon them. Aristocrats and landed chieftains were not appointed as governors. The khaljis and Tughluqs continued to use bandagan and also raised people of humble birth, who were often their client, to high political position. They were appointed as generals and governors. However, this also introduced an element of political instability. Slaves and clients were loyal to their masters and patrons, but not to their heirs. Next is the Sultanate in the 15th and 16th century. On the death of last Tughlaq king, the Said and Lori dynasty ruled from Delhi and Agra until 1526. This period saw a series of revolts. Bihar declared its independence. Rana Sanga defeated the Sultanate army. Daulat Khan, the governor of Punjab, revolted and invited Babur to invade India. By then, Jaunpur, Bengal, Malwa, Gujarat, Rajasthan, and the entire South India had independent rulers who established flourishing states and prosperous capitals. Babur defeated the Sultan Ibrahim in 1526 in the First Battle of Panipat. This brought to an end of Delhi Sultanate. During this period, the Afghans and the Rajputs emerged as new ruling group. Some of the states established in this period were small but powerful and extremely well administered. Sher Shah Suri, 1540 to 1545, who started his career as the manager of a small territory for his uncle in Bihar, challenged and defeated the Mughal Emperor Humayun from 1530 to 1540 and 1555 to 1556. He captured Delhi and established the Suri dynasty. The Suri dynasty ruled for only 15 years, from 1540 to 1555, but it introduced an administration that borrowed elements from Alauddin Khilji and made them more efficient. Sher Shah's administration became the model followed by the great Emperor Akbar in 1556 to 1605, when he consolidated the Mughal Empire. So students, here we have completed chapter 3, the Delhi Sultans. So your homework will be, I will send the PDF and you have to write the exercise, that is terminology and question and answer. Complete your notes. Okay, this is your homework. So history from first, second and third, from first to third chapter I have completed. So here your history, political science and geography completed. So your term portion will be from geography first to fifth, history first to third, and political science first to fifth. Okay, so complete your notes, do your homework. Okay, write everything neat and clean. handwriting. Prepare well, study nicely. All the best for your term exam. Thank you.